At this time, although you best know him from his role on the TV show Survivor, he's a community activist, he's an entrepreneur, and I'd like to introduce the man, Rupert Boneham.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I'm going to sit because it's just a little more comfortable. I actually want to start this out by saying, I'm sure everybody was wondering how I was going to be dressed. Well, I have a little bit of tie-dye on, and my wife made me a tie-dye tie, dyed the material, and hand-sewed the tie for me just for today. So that's my little splash of tie-dye. And I actually have a tie-dye kerchief in my pocket that my daughter made. I don't know exactly how this starts, since this is my first press conference ever. So maybe we'll just start with questions.
Why run for governor of Indiana, or at least think about it, form an exploratory committee to run for governor?
Exactly right. I'm creating that exploratory committee to see what interest there would be for a fellow Hoosier who is not the normal politician. See what kind of support there would be out there for that person that is not in the normal political realm.
Why politics?
My family, my friends, my supporters of Rupert's Kids have asked me the same question of why politics. I like showing what we have been doing and being able to create that awareness. The same thing that we've been doing for years. Now I want to say also, we are just gathering the information. I want to see if the normal, the typical, the average Hoosier out there is ready to even see me as their governor. I know I am ready. I want to see if Hoosiers are ready for me.
Rupert, okay.
How will you be doing that? Are you gonna, what's your travel schedule? Are you gonna go around and just talk to people? Listen to people, have some town hall meetings?
What we are doing now is gathering as much information as we can on rupertforgovernor.com. I want to hear what people are having to say. I have lived with the average Hoosier all of my adult life here in Indianapolis. I deal with those kids, those families that are struggling. I know what day-to-day life is for our Hoosiers. I want to hear what their struggles are. And that's what I'm doing, is gathering that information on rupertforgovernor.com.
Rupert, when we look at some of the more global issues facing the state of Indiana, obviously the economy, jobs, education, economic development, roads, infrastructure, where do you come down on a lot of this? Because a lot of folks would be saying, okay, we saw you on Survivor, we know you're great with the kids, but what about those real deep-seated public policy issues?
You know, and right now I am gathering information to see what support I have, and as we go on with our campaign, if I do decide to run for governor, you're going to see a lot more of our policies coming out, what I've been doing in our small business. I mean, I've been that entrepreneur, that small business person, that community activist for years, showing how we save our dollars spent wisely. I want to do that for Indiana. But you'll see a lot more of our policy. Right now, I'm seeing what support there is. I want people to see who I really am, not just that reality star.
Rupert, why are you a Libertarian as opposed to a Democrat or Republican or Tory or Whig or whatever?
You know, the Libertarian Party, I have been paying very close attention, especially for this last year with the Libertarian Party, and we share a lot of the same core values. I've been showing for years how I don't hold my hand out, but I like showing how we are self-sufficient, self-reliant on corporate economics and personal economics, kind of both sides.
Can you tell us a little about your business?
I have been running a mentoring program since the early 90s. In 91, we incorporated Kids Hope, a nonprofit here in Indianapolis. And in 04, I changed that over to Rupert's Kids. Somebody purchased the website and all. I also have a television production company and an entertainment company that has been running for 7 years. We employ multiple truck drivers, mentors, different people in our world, in our 5 different companies that we have.
What are those companies? Can you give us a little more detail?
My Tournament Towers is my television production. RFB Enterprises is my entertainment company, which holds a few of our record label, our different things. My real estate development company that deals with 10,000 square feet of office space here in town. There are a few smaller businesses that we are creating in our mentoring program, showing young men how you start your own world and become self-sufficient, all to make sure that Rupert's Kids, my favorite of all of our companies, as my wife calls it,
That's a
my
nonprofit.
charity.
That's a nonprofit, correct?
That is a nonprofit.
Rupert, it's interesting, you come to us today and, sort of the tie-dye shirt and jacket. Some people say, but that's, your image has always been the guy in the tie-dye shirt, that Mike Pence is the guy with the button-down shirt, John Gregg is sort of the folksy guy, Rupert just be Rupert and let the people know you for as you are. Do you plan to change your image any or be basically the same person you've always been?
I would hope that you see a still Rupert, the same happy-go-lucky guy that I have been for years. But I want you also to see that I am serious about this. Yes, of course I am changing my image a little bit. I'm not just the hairy, scary guy running around in a tank top tie-dye. I still will have, a little bit of tie-dye and color on me. But I want people to see how serious I am about making a difference. That's what I'm out there exploring, is if people will be as excited about it as I am.
As far as some of the issues with that, you said you don't want to talk about public policy yet, because you're still seeking input and things like that, but do you have some views on, say, school funding issues or vouchers or drug laws, abortion, immigration?
Again, you are talking to somebody that has worked in the system for 20 plus years.
So how is that shaped your views?
I've watched the empowerment programs go away and our correctional facilities increase. Of course, I have a lot of very strong views on that, and if and when I decide to run for governor, the same policies that have been running in my world for years that are tried and true, that save us all money, will be put in place in Indiana.
Most people would agree that perhaps the biggest issue right now is the economy. What are you thinking about that?
Being able to show how we have so many different sectors of workers that are struggling to make a living. I live that day-to-day life, that paycheck-to-paycheck life, most of my life. I have only been a celebrity the last few years. I understand what the policies are doing to us when we struggle with even making that utility payment with the air conditioning running all the time and the fuel bill so high, and we're trying to live on even less dollars. That's the world I come from, and that's the world I understand. I want people out there to see, are we ready to elect one of us and try and show Indiana how to be a little more understanding and self-sufficient at the same time?
How soon do you plan to have a decision made on any sort of official run?
I am looking at over the next few weeks, talking with family, talking with friends, talking with some of my supporters of Rupert's Kids. I do not want to, just because I have decided to do this, I want to make sure that it's not going to hurt my world.
But obviously, with we're getting through this election season right now, then January starts the next gubernatorial race and campaign. I'm assuming you have a decision made by the end of the year.
Oh, I'm talking about weeks, not months.
Is this going to be a reality show?
Everybody
running for
looks at
governor?
me, right, as that reality guy. There is no way I would ever bring reality into my real world. Being that governor of Indiana is a reality. Reality TV has no place in running for governor.
How would you fund a bid for governor?
I'm sorry.
How would you fund it? Are you gonna take, because, there's so much talk, less government, less this, how would you've obviously got a lot of name recognition. Are you gonna raise money? Are you gonna take funds?
My campaign, honestly, is going to be that grassroots campaign showing, I have said for years, we are that marketing company that shows in Rupert's Kids, 20 years and never taking a government dollar. Private, corporate, or my own pocket. That's how I run my world now. I will show with very little dollars, great spending abilities. We are going to spend money wisely and show how one of us is going to run for governor.
How do you differentiate yourself with some of the Republicans out there who kind of Tea Party aligned, who kind of take a lot of libertarian stances? Like, how do you differentiate yourself from a Mike Pence besides the fact he's an insider, he's been in the game? A lot of Tea Party sentiment out there. How do you say, we're the Tea Party, or how do you sell yourself to that group out there?
In the Libertarian Party itself is that more self-reliance and less government. I have been that proponent of just a structure change in how we spend our dollars instead of trying to increase our take from taxes or corporate America or whatever. Spending a dollar smarter will save us all. The Republican Party has that same idea, yes. I do not say that I am, I like being able to show in the libertarian world and in my world, we will stand up and go up against those $20 million dollars with only a few and give them a run for their money.
One more question, we get one more question.
Rupert, there's been quite a bit of support, or kind of a growing amount of support, especially from some folks who are within the Libertarian Party, for relaxing the state's drug laws. Is that something you also share a value with?
I have spent 20 years of my life showing young men and women how, when your world is better, you do not have to live in that cloud.
What does that mean? As far as drug laws, do you favor relaxing them or eliminating them?
You're getting into some of our policy that will come out in our economic kind of future. There's a lot of issues, let alone the drug issue. There's a lot of, in our correctional facilities, an immense amount of issues that could save us millions of dollars.
So that's something you want to leave for another day.
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to wrap this up now.
Thank you guys very, very much. You're going to see a lot more of me.